This weekend, we attended our first gaming convention, SaltCon. It was the SaltCon End of Summer convention in Layton, Utah. We participated in 4 role-playing games, including 3 games of Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League. The adventures were called Ice Road Trackers. We used pre-generated characters. In the end, we had John, also known as Henrik, a half-elf fighter, Willoughby, a halfling rogue, and Regan Firehammer, a dwarven cleric. The first adventure was called Warm Bodies. In this adventure, a muskrat leads us into a crevasse in the spine of the world. We find talking animals, including a walrus named Mother Tusk. She is curious about us and asks for our help. There is a curse in the spine of the world. There has been prolonged darkness, and the children are afraid of the northernmost caves. It turns out the children are all the other animals that have become awakened. Ollie, a snowy owl, is our guide. There are sounds in the cave to the north, and it smells like death. Ollie is fearful and leaves, and we find 2 bodies, 2 dead males missing arms and with any warm clothes simply shredded. They appear to have been slain by a very large creature with claws and a beak, and we suspect it's potentially an owlbear. We find some short swords and short bows, and a book of orc translations for key words and phrases. We come to a wall with orc writing. It says, "The dead pass not." We struggle a great deal to get it open. Finally, John says the phrase, "The dead pass not," as he touches the door, and it opens. This puzzle took about 10 minutes, and after about 5 minutes, we were exasperated. Rather than simply allow us to continue on, the dungeon master was insistent that we come up with the right solution. Once inside, we find sacks with orc religious carvings and figurines. There's a stylized eye, the symbol of the orc god Grumsh. There's a cave opening, symbol of the orc goddess Luthik, as well as a symbol that looks like dripping blood from the dwarven god Inabel. Further along, we find a chamber with 4 undead orcs. Willoughby, our thief, goes down to damage. We battle, we win, and we replace wards in the room with those orc symbols. This prevents further orc undead from escaping. We save an archaeologist named Ducat, and we get a potion of poison resistance, oil of slipperiness, and an item he had found in the tomb, an ersatz eye. Using this eye, we can look through it and read and comprehend orc, although we cannot speak it. We also gain a level. Now at level 2, we tackle the second mission, Unsure Footing. Mother Tusk says that one of her children is missing, a young otter named Spritzel. Mother Tusk is concerned because there are wolves in the area. Spritzel was sent on a spying mission on the town of East Haven. He has white fur, a brown patch above his eye, and for some reason he wears a pearl earring. We find wolf tracks and other tracks, including many, many otter tracks. We find a romp of otter. In fact, we learned that romp is the name for a group of otters on land, whereas a raft is the name for a group of otters sleeping in the water. We find this romp of otters being chased by wolves. They all dive into holes deep down into the snow and ice. We follow and slide down icy chutes. A battle ensues in a chamber filled with nearly a foot of water. We slay the wolves and rescue Spritzel. We also find a dead explorer, and we resort to burning him for residual heat. This keeps away the cold for a time, but the smoke of his smoldering remains is enough to drive us out of this subterranean passage. We climb the slides, taking 3 of the wolf corpses with us because we may need firewood for the journey back to Mother Tusk. It's quite cold outside. We make it back, and Spritzel gives us each a pearl earring. He also gives us some plunder. Mine was a broken piece of crockery that he must have thought was valuable. Mother Tusk gives us 2 scrolls of cure wounds. Our last adventure is called Chilled Drinks. We meet up again with Mother Tusk. A spring has stopped flowing into a nearby lake, roughly 1 to 2 hours away. They had sent a scout, Whisket, and she has been missing for 3 days. She is a snowy fox. Traveling to this spring, we see 2 hyenas ready to kill Whisket. A volley of arrows brings them down. At the spring, we find a tent and 4 knoll guards, dragging a wounded man. We attack with arrows and miss the broadside of a barn. We slip and slide our way toward them. Inside the tent, we find a female knoll stabbing a wounded man with some sort of strange black object. Is it a crystal? The fighter, Naniel, destroys the knoll after Regan hits her with a guiding bolt. After we dispatch the knolls, hyenas attack. We mow through them like dry grass. We rescue the wounded man, and he says his name is Judd. He is from Dugan Hole. We loot the knolls for some gold and discover a suit of studded leather armor. Judd seems to be acting strange, and we suspect he is holding something back. After Regan threatens to give him a dunk in the ice-cold water, he tells us that the knolls were trying to get someone to bless the priestess with the power of inner voices. But now Judd hears these voices, and he is scared. We decide the best thing for him is to take him to the city watch at his home in Dugan Hole. We then go back to Mother Tusk and have a very nice outro to this miniature campaign.